Your potential is limitless with the right mentor. Welcome to the Donraj Sir Method, where we believe in living the subject. And today, we're going to live the subject of civics.
We're diving into a topic that honestly affects every single one of us every single day. How your state legislature works. We're going to break it all down, piece by piece, so you can see exactly how the decisions that shape your world get made.
So, let's just jump right in. Have you ever been driving and just wondered, who decided this speed limit? Or who's in charge of funding our local schools and hospitals? Well, the answer to all of that lies in your state capital. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that whole process.
All right, so to get our heads around this, let's start with the basic blueprint. I want you to think of your state government as a kind of lawmaking machine. And just like any machine, it's got a few key parts that have to work together to get the job done. Now, the core of this machine is what we call the state legislature. But here's the thing, it's not just one single body. Think of it more like a team of three. You've got the governor, the legislative assembly, and then in some states, there's a second group called the legislative council. And that right there brings up a really big question. Does your state have one lawmaking house, or does it have two? This is where we get into these two big ideas, unicameral and bicameral systems.
And don't worry, it's actually pretty simple. Uni means one, right? So a unicameral legislature has just one house. That's the legislative assembly. And bi means two. So a bicameral legislature has two houses, the assembly and that second chamber, the legislative council.
So you're probably wondering, okay, which states actually have this two-house system? Well, as of right now, only 6 states in India have a legislative council. Go on, take a look, see if your state is on that list. This is a really key difference in how laws get debated and passed across the country.
Okay, so now that we've got the basic structure down, let's meet the players. I mean, who are the actual people running this lawmaking machine?
Let's start right at the top with the governor. They're the constitutional head of the state, sort of the formal leader. But it's really important to know that the real day-to-day power, that's held by the elected chief minister and their cabinet.
So, a few key things you should know about the governor. First off, they aren't elected by us, the citizens of the state. They're actually appointed by the President of India. They serve a 5-year term and have to be at least 35 years old. This role is really designed to be that link between the state and the central government.
Okay, now let's talk about the real powerhouse of state government, the Legislative Assembly, also known as the Vidhan Sabha. It's called the House of the People, and there's a very good reason for that. You. It's because the members, the MLAs, are the ones you directly elect in your state elections. Simple as that. They are literally your voice in the government. And notice the minimum age here is just 25. This house is meant to be dynamic and directly answerable to the public. Okay, so for those 6 states that have the two-house system, let's talk about that second chamber, the Legislative Council, or Vidhan Parishad. It's often thought of as the House of Elders.
And that elder nickname isn't just for show. It's reflected right here in the age requirement. You've got to be at least 30 years old to be a member, 5 years older than for the assembly. The whole idea is to have a chamber with, more seasoned perspectives, taking a second look at all the legislation.
So if the public doesn't directly elect them, who does? Well, it's a pretty interesting mix. A third of them are elected by the MLAs themselves, another third by local governments, like municipalities. And get this, even teachers and university graduates get to vote for some members. And then, the governor gets to nominate the rest, often people who are experts in things like art, science, or social service.
All right, so we've got the structure, we've met the people, but what does it all mean? What does this legislature actually do? Let's talk power, money, and control.
It really boils down to 3 huge jobs. First, making laws on subjects the state controls. Second, financial power, and this is absolutely critical. They control the state's entire budget. Not a single rupee can be spent without their okay. And third, they keep the government in check by asking tough questions and holding debate.
But wait a second. For those states with 2 houses, this brings up a huge question, right? What happens if the assembly passes a bill but the council says no way? Who wins that argument? Who gets the final say?
Well, when it comes down to it, it's not even close. The Legislative Assembly, the one you elect, holds pretty much all the cards. They have the final word on regular laws and total control over the state's money. The council? They can suggest changes, they can delay a bill for a little while, but ultimately, they cannot stop it. The power is firmly with the House that's directly elected by the people.
So you might be asking, then why even have a council at all? Well, this quote right here, it sums it up perfectly.
Think of the council as a speed bump, not a roadblock. Its real power isn't to kill laws, but to force a pause, to make the assembly think twice, and prevent rushed or hasty legislation. It's a chamber for revision, not for revolution.
Okay, so we've unpacked the whole blueprint, we've met the key players, and we've seen the balance of power. Now for the most important part. Let's connect all these dots back to what this means for your daily life. Look, if there's just one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this. The real, actual power to shape your state is in the hands of the Legislative Assembly. And who puts them there? You do. Your vote for your local MLA isn't just a small thing. It has a direct and massive impact on your life.
Because when you think about it, at the end of the day, the decisions made inside those state legislature buildings, they literally pave your roads, they fund your schools, they write the rules that keep your communities safe. So now that you know the blueprint, now that you know how it all works, the real question is, what are you going to pay attention to?